In the heart of the Philippines, where the sun always shines, there's a tale of resilience in the midst of hard times. George and Heidi with courage in their stride, facing down the critics with nothing to hide. Oh, George and Heidi, shining bright, in the face of adversity they take flight.
Morning, guys. How you guys doing today?
Good morning. That was
Magandang umaga, masantang abak, mayang buntag.
good morning. Good
For those of you who
morning.
missed it, that was a fire that happened recently. It's really hot here in the Philippines lately. In fact, we had in the last live, I played a clip where the firefighters came over. When the power lines where we
Powers.
are at
Mm-hmm.
caught on fire.
Been a lot of that going on. It's been extremely hot, and so with the wiring and the heat, there's been quite a bit of fire. So we thought we would throw that up. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. We're still allowing the room to actually build up. Um, so in saying that, okay, usually takes a few minutes. But today we will finally cover the Armstrong family, YouTubers that are out there. And it was an interesting story. So others have started to cover this, but as always, we try to wait for as much information as possible, kind of like a lot of the stories we've been covering here lately. Me and George was out and about yesterday in Angel City, went out for lunch and went out shopping and did some things. And then we heard that he had put out a video. And so we've been looking over that footage. So we will cover the Armstrong divorce, what we think. We'll open up the panel. We'll talk about the divorce proceedings, how they work, what they did, how long their relationship lasts, what we think. We've watched her videos. Inside of the description, we have entered the links to both channels. He did not mention the other channel, probably for good reasons, but it
Well,
is public information. So once again, I want to remind everybody that if your stuff is out there and it's on the internet in public access and you guys are YouTubers, then people are going to do,
right.
like
And
other
actually,
footage.
going back into that, which is again kind of odd, and I say odd. First off, if you don't want anybody to get into your business, then don't make it everybody's business.
Mm.
Meaning, don't put it out on YouTube. Now, Richard, again, first off, his video is a reaction video, somewhat not a reaction to. It's he is reacting to
His ex-wife.
his soon to be ex-wife's video, okay, or ex-wife video, however you want to look at it. He's reacting to that video. So what I'm saying is, if she had not put out a video, he probably would not have made that video. Okay?
Well, he had stayed silent. He, like he
Correct.
said, his silence should prove that all of his things that are being said about him may not be true. But, you know,
Right. Now, we're not going to show you her video for one of the main reasons is honestly she really kind of didn't really say anything. But she did say a few things.
most of it's in Tagalog. And
And
so,
well, that too. She did say a few things, but I'll address them on Richard's video. So what I'm saying is, I didn't see a need to show her video part of it because the stuff she said were kind of minimal. I guess they she didn't s- she didn't accuse Richard. He this, he that.
but
Not,
according to him, I think he's reading into it.
right, and
He's
that's what I was getting at.
overreacting,
It's like,
in my
for instance,
opinion.
just an example. In her video, she says she did a lot of editing. was it put into precarious stuff when, for example, when was doing the vlogs, she was on the roof. Yes, it's dangerous. Yes, I understand that. Little stuff like
To me,
that.
it's just another
You know,
couple that hit rock bottom, and we've told you guys a million times that YouTube puts stress on couples. I don't care what any couple on
right,
here that's smiling in the camera saying, "Oh, well, they're just this," and they're no. YouTube, regardless, still takes time, still takes uploads. Add in construction and them living under those conditions and the additional information that he's put out. Plus, she's raising a kid. At one point, his son come to stay for a while. All these are stress points for everybody. And it looks like during that time the son came, looks like they really weren't much together anyways. So it's kind of
right. And
yeah.
also another reason why I didn't bring up the video, because honestly, I really didn't see anything in it, but he did apparently.
Mhm.
What I'm saying is, honestly, if he hadn't made the reaction video, I wouldn't have seen things in that light, if that makes any sense. So it's kind of one of those, well, maybe you shouldn't have made the video, Richard, but I get why you did, that kind of stuff.
Well, here's the thing. Anybody who puts anything out in public is why it's covered.
Right.
So
Well,
it's, everything that's done by celebrities, there's like 50 million channels now that are doing celebrity gossip or covering specific parts of people's lives. Then you got the ones that there's just all kinds of them that are going to cover topics and all that. And he really put a lot of additional
all right.
information out there for sure.
Actually, you made a good point there, AJ.
Hey, Violet.
Let's take a step back, shall we? Okay, now there is this YouTuber couple, because they
So,
seem to have a happy relationship, marriage together. She's Filipina and he's, well, American. Okay. They had an LDR. They married online. Okay. Keyword, they married online. Okay. So, and then he came down here. They started a YouTube channel together. They built the YouTube channel. They built and sold property together.
okay, so we're talking about the Armstrongs. I would have said the
Right,
Armstrong.
right. That's what
Okay,
I'm
it sounded
saying.
like
Yeah.
you were talking about somebody else.
No, 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 no,
The
no,
Armstrong
no.
family.
Yeah, the
channel.
Armstrong family. Correct. Yes, I was building up again what we're talking about. Yes, we're talking about the Armstrong family. So basically, that's what their channel is all about, or seem to be. Okay. So they did honestly, again, I have nothing bad to say about them, period. I mean, again, I've even used them as an example
Yeah, we
before.
mentioned the
They
Armstrong
gave the
family.
right builds when they built houses. They gave the prices. I'm like, okay, this guy's telling these are the right amounts, such and such. Again, I've used them as an example, not in a bad light, but actually, no, he's in the ballpark. You know what I'm saying? That makes sense. And that's who these are. Now, some of you, unless you're into house builds, odds are
Yeah, we
you
sell.
won't see them. You won't see them in your feed, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
But if you're into house builds, like, of course they're gonna pop up. You know what I'm saying? Um,
What's wrong?
no, I was just reading what
Okay,
TextMex
just
says.
admit it. Okay, so
Yeah.
everything we discussed earlier, just leave out things we're already into this. So, um, all right. So I really don't. We're just kind of still waiting for the room to build up. Hey, Sarah. Good morning, Bruce Davis. Our members, if you guys aren't subscribed, please subscribe. It helps our channel grow. Um, what's that?
No, nothing.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, guys, hit like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. The thing is, hit the notification bell. For those who are already like subscribed, hit the notification bell twice to deactivate and reactivate it, because sometimes there's an old YouTube glitch that some of you don't get the notifications. Anyhow, the again, like I said, we don't have a problem with the Armstrongs whatsoever. And honestly, again, if Richard didn't make a reaction video, it's kind of like,
no, it's out there. I'm going to cover anything for now.
no, no, no.
We cover
again,
our
but
life,
what I'm
expat
saying
help,
is,
anything expat, jail wise, divorce wise, or anybody that has put themselves out there. Of course, we're going to
Right.
cover
And
it. And we've
he's
gotten a lot of messages recently again about him. First time when she just put something out, there was no surprise about the divorce. So I've seen the channel and all the construction. Nobody makes it through any of that.
right.
And to start off with, it looks like they literally just married 3 years ago. And they've been married for 3 years. Allegedly, the divorce is going through South Dakota. He put all this out that we're going to mention. Um, and he says it's days away, and the video has already been out for over a day. So he said that after that, they will be filing something with the Philippine government because you have to. So they got married online during the pandemic, and they did it through a company that's through the US. So they got married online. It's only been 3 years. According to him, they've been living in separate bedrooms for 2. So, and at some point, he said he was living out in the shed. Again, both links are in here to both
Well,
of their
that's part of
reactions.
the little clip.
So 8 months to a year before the divorce filed in November, according to him, they weren't even together, like at all, not even in the house. So they didn't know how to break it. So I'm surprised they didn't break it sooner. So they did keep everything under wraps. But it looks like there's a he said, she said, two sides to the story situation. Um, in the split, and if you watch her channel, the one thing that I'm going to mention that appeared to me is she's going on about how she's somewhat broke or some issues of getting child support from her ex and all that. She's making it appear like she's down and out.
Yeah, now be aware again. Remember, that has nothing to do with Richard.
No. So I think most of this is coming from the comment section, according to him.
See,
Most
that's
of
how I
it.
was getting at.
And he keeps
Yes.
saying that. Yeah.
Richard on the video is actually responding to the comment section, not so
And
much as her video,
her, but he is
mostly the comment section.
right.
Yes.
So he's saying he's getting threats and that people are saying she got nothing. He explained in the divorce that she got 50% of everything, that he made more money back in the US than he does over here, and that she outright just owns the company now. Now, remember, when during this time they've been together, she's been selling real estate on the side. She had like drone shots of all kinds of realty. She was working realty and doing all these things. And according to him, she's been left the entire company. Well, here's the thing we have to mention on the side. And I was telling George, remember, there's an anti-dummy law when you're married to, I believe that's the name of the law, correct? It's a weird name for it.
Anti-dummy law is when you put, for example, just an example. Let's say
I want a bar here in Angel City.
correct, and then
I
she
would put it,
puts
I
the
would
name
pay
on my
for it
name.
and then put it all
That
in his
falls
name,
into the anti-dummy law.
which is against the law to put businesses just to get around doing things. And there's been those rumors too going around that he actually did that. Understand they hired in a lot of Filipinos. Now, according to him, the wages were fair. What do you pay? 800 to 1500 or 1000 to 15?
Well, that's about 1,500 for his foreman, and then
Which is
go
really
below.
good though, by the way.
But we'll get into that though. I
Yeah,
mean,
so a lot going on, guys. So on a side note, and we're not going to answer any questions on this. Previous live stream, being we have most of our people in here right now, there was a gun import thing talked about during our previous live stream, and we want to correct the misinformation and that I had given that I think, and I believe I said that you can import the guns, and a bunch of people in the room said it too. So I wasn't the only one. We weren't acting alone. In owning a gun, only a Filipino can own a gun. Several of my expat friends said that they did. Okay, so what was I to think? Come to call and find out it's their wives that own these guns.
right. That's
so
where
you're allowed to have your wives own the guns, but technically they do not. So there are no gun permits or guns given to anybody that is a foreigner. Now, can dignitaries and presidents that come from other countries and bodyguards and all that, there are special ones that are given. But the weird thing is I looked the law up online during the live stream, and it clearly stated that yes, you can import guns, blah 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 blah. Well, if you're importing, usually you're a foreigner. Okay, But it turns out that even though I read through the actual information, yes, you can, but you have to be a Filipino when you actually bring them. So there is no importation of a gun whatsoever. As a matter of fact, when we came over, we had shipped a few Billy Buying boxes, and somebody actually had a weapon in their actual box, and it was like blew our mind. It held up the ship for more than a month or something. Remember? Because we were like, what's going on? Because it took almost 4.5 months for the actual boxes to arrive a couple years ago. And they said there was a delayment because of, I guess, the scanning. They found a weapon, so they held the whole ship to check every single box. It was crazy. But no weapons, guys. So,
Right. And the reason for that segue again is because,
yeah, we just want
again,
to say I made a mistake.
well, we were talking about anti-dummy law, meaning
Oh,
most of the time it's owned by the Filipino side of the couple.
that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah. So,
That's why the segue. But anyway,
also, right here, Illuminar will highlight your thing because I want to address that. And we'll
which
probably
one?
address that on Saturday.
This one.
Yeah. Thornton's wife gave an Oscar-worthy performance. And the other part is where he's probably got an icon there. I was just talking to George about that when we were in downtown Angel City yesterday. I said, "Did you see Mark Thornton and Jen?" Where they were discussing their happy life and how they were all chipper and everything's great. And George, like, yeah, anybody that goes on strongly in a performance like that usually means they're not. It just didn't seem natural to me how much she's like, it's nice being a mother. And I'm just kind of overreacting the way she was. And then he was like, I feel young. I feel young again, and the baby and Jen make me feel young. Well, yeah, you're staring down baby skin all the time. I bet you do. I mean, he's like, I feel young again. And then Jen called him out over his fast food. Remember, I said, she's like, I wish you would stop eating McDonald's. He's like, yeah, I do. Because he was trying to go on how healthy he was eating. And then she's like, yeah, I just wish you would stop eating McDonald's. I was like, damn, snap again. Just like she snapped down about owning a home situation. So, yes, I think it was a little much. I think because of probably the messages he's getting, the case, I believe this is my true belief. I've been in touch with the Dumagetti group over there that's filing the suit. And again, I stand by Dexter. Okay. And I believe there's more people saying things about Mark Thornton right now and his attitude than there is about Dexter's life. I don't believe any of the accusations about him being with anybody young or all that. That's just to splash his name. They were all friends beforehand. This is just a he said, she said thing, or he and wee and wee wees all over the place. Who knows? So just a bunch of testosterone over there. But I believe he's been served recently. Okay, so the blotter was filled out. There was a court thing filled out, and now he's to be served about appearing and what's going on and everything. There's several steps here in the Philippines. And so he probably did that about the time because we were expecting it any day.
Right. And just so you guys know, again, I really wish we could say more about the situation.
We probably will.
However, well, after the fact. But
Yeah.
the thing is, again, we just can't say anything. I mean,
Yeah. So
but case in point, again, remember the camera doesn't lie, regardless of narrative. And
come on over.
that's all I can really say because I really wish we could say more, but unfortunately, we can't.
All right, let's get into this.
Okay. Now,
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
okay, before again. Now remember, first off, the video we're gonna show you is edited for obvious reasons, because again, he goes on about other certain things, which kind of doesn't, we're not gonna show you the full clip.
Can I?
Not because we're trying to change the narrative to our views. No, and it's not about that.
Oh.
It's just because, what I'm saying is he starts talking about SEOs, YouTube, blah, blah, which again is somewhat irrelevant. That kind of stuff. Also be aware too that he's reacting to a lot of stuff that's not on YouTube, but it's on YouTube at the same time. It's one of those, like,
I'm
nobody would know what he's talking about unless you're him, if that makes sense. No offense to you, Richard. Again, no, again.
and Donna and Richard. Donna's got her own channel. I'm unsure about some other channels that we've seen, but we'll discuss some of that when he talks about some of the things that he does in the video, what our thought is on that. I just wanted to do a commercial break. Mark Thornton's video and this video is brought to you by Philippine Viagra.
What?
Viagra.
Philippine Viagra. What's
It's called
that?
Viagra.
Oh, okay.
It comes from Phil Health, all the old dudes here. So,
Right.
brought to you by Phil Agra. I'm about ready to do your cat in. Can you believe the cat's like biting up all the papers?
Yeah, it's a mango.
Mango.
All right,
bad
here's Richard.
boy.
Okay, and let's listen to him.
Welcome back to the channel. Now, as you guessed it, this video is going to address a lot of comments, a lot of opinions that you've all had, and there's a lot to discuss in this video. You guys know that we are at the final stages of divorce. The divorce is being performed under South Dakota jurisdiction. The divorce is literally days away from being finalized at this point. We are just waiting for the judge to stamp, sign it, and send it off, and then I can hand deliver her copy. Now, there have been a lot of comments stating that I took everything. That wasn't even the case. It was.
Okay. All right, Bruce. Mark Thorne, sponsored by Viagra and Redmond Shoe.
So is Mr. Armstrong, I'm sure.
There you go.
And I take that back. You guys asked me about an expat. I'll switch him out
maybe
for
we're
a
gonna use the
regular
captain here.
guy.
Now, I pause this. The reason I pause this is because here's the issue that now keep in mind and remember, these are Richard's words. Richard, these are your words, not ours, not anybody else's. According to him, the divorce is basically on its final legs, on its final lap, on right to the finish line, and he's going to hand the papers over to her. Now, some of you mentioned something earlier. Again, hold on. Let me again, and these are valid points. Actually,
Yeah, I'd probably go through them afterwards. It's
Okay,
a little distracting.
so now here's the issue I have with this, and it'll fall into play later on. But let me go into it now because it's actually coming off his own words. Is he's about to serve the papers. Now, 13A does allow you to work in the Philippines. However, the moment that divorce happens, be aware at that point in time. I get there's a lag.
It's up, as I'm to understand about the rules, it's up to the expat to refile another status. The Philippines isn't going to tell you when to go do that. They're not going to wait for it to switch over. They're not going to switch it over. So, being he's gotten a lot of attorneys, I'm assuming, and we're assuming, that he's having them handle his proper documents, but it'll be up to him. As of right now, I just want to let you know what others have told us in emails. Their concern, okay, our concerned citizens out there here in the Philippine expat community or American expat community or whatever expat community, is that he has been under, and admittedly, as of yesterday, that they haven't even been in the same household for a year, but yet he still continues construction. He's admitted all this on air that for the past 2 years, their marriage has been rocky and they're not even sleeping in the same place. And for almost 8 months to 10 months, they haven't even been in the same household. So he continues to do construction. He continues to run an actual business. Now, how ugly is this marriage actually going to get, or her constituents or people that are watching her channel? Because according to him, further down, he's saying it's getting pretty ugly that people are standing up for her, but he's like,
Well,
none of it's really true, but they could be watching him.
in all fairness, again, be aware that it's
up to him to change it.
Well, not only that, she's somewhat civil about it. What I'm saying is, again, he's mostly reacting to the commenters, whether or not it's her or not.
He doesn't say the name of her channel. He keeps saying that a person that is a witness, or he makes allegations that somebody, if you'll hear in his own words,
Regardless, it's all
created an
alleged.
account,
It's all alleged at this point on their side, not our side. On
as
their
far as
side.
his immigration status, they could make him adjust way back. So although he's been on a 13A, they could go back by 9 months and say you should have been on a tourist visa or you should have been on this visa, and they could charge him for that, which I'm sure he's actually got the money. But his immigration
Well, I'm not worried
status is
about
all
that, to be
wonky.
honest with you. I think he's
Well, this is an expat community. I would be concerned that he's slinging mud, and he claims she is, and created accounts. He does say that further on in here,
and again,
allegedly.
and again, that falls back again to what I said earlier. Richard, you probably should not have made this video,
We told
regardless
you.
of your lawyer's, advice. I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of one of those. Again,
Rarely does a divorce go.
did
pop
she
off
mention things in
so
her video?
pretty.
Yes, but not.
like this.
Anyway, yeah, exactly. Anyway,
And again, we're really not taking sides. We're just saying.
No, we're not. Again, but
It was a 50-50 split. She got 50% of everything from the sale of the house, and she got to keep her company. I didn't use her for the company. We made that company back in the day, not because we were making a lot of money. We made that company because she sold a lot of land for a developer here to a lot of foreigners. Now, there was no money being made off the company.
Okay,
Immigration.
now here's the thing. I mean, I get it, because honestly, I've done a lot of things for free, and I get it. You do a lot of things for free. However, you don't build a company. You don't build a company
Or go into construction.
to do things for free. What I'm saying is, did I do a lot of things for free in the US because, just
Me?
because?
I'm about-
Yeah, because there's nothing wrong with goodness of your heart, but you don't build a
Hey,
company
surfing black.
just because of it, if that makes any sense.
Right.
The money was being given back to the actual crew members and employees. The highest paid crew members and employees were with Kano P&I Construction. The purpose of the construction company was not to make money. It was to give us something to do. It was to give us vlog content. It was primarily based for content and to provide jobs.
Now, that's all nice and well. However, I'm not saying that Armstrong is deceiving us. No, he's not.
I will. Because according to him, he did all the hiring and set the wage amounts,
Okay.
and that he didn't abuse his employees. So sounds like he was doing more than.
Well, it's not that. Here's the thing. It's all a matter of perspective, and that's what I mean. And one, did he build a company to make money? No, not really. However, it is designed to be self-sufficient, meaning it's not supposed to run in the red, if that makes any sense. What I'm saying is, as a Westerner, okay, when you go into the Philippines, when you build a company, I believe in his mindset and in you guys' mindset. Be aware. I'm trying to put you guys in his eyes. He did not build the company to basically make a ton of money. Did he build the company to make money? Yes. Did he build the company to make a ton of money? No. What I'm getting at is, remember, here he's gonna make pesos, not dollars. He's gonna make money, but not to what you would identify as money. You guys know what I mean?
Right.
Making 1,000 pesos a day is not money.
Okay. Yes. Further up, somebody asked, is her kid from a previous marriage? Yes. Did you save that clip in here? He's going to talk about it?
Yes, it's
Okay,
there,
so
it's
then
there.
I'll wait. So yeah, the answer
Yeah,
is no.
but that's what I mean. He's not deceiving you or deceiving us that did I make the company to not make money? No. He did make the company to make money,
Right, but he's not
but in
denying that
Filipino
he's-
pesos.
Right. So on a 13A, he is allowed to work. As far as owning a business in his name, and running it with her. The answer is supposed to be no. If
That's a
anything,
different
he's just
story
supposed to-
entirely.
just supposed to be, if anything, her employee. So it's but he's sure going on out loud about how he's doing everything. So once again, guys, I would have
Well,
honestly,
she says a lot of things that kind of covers him too as well. So it's kind of one of those.
right, but it's him stating that he.
That's
and
that's the thing. That's why I
I-
said he probably was better off not making
not
this video.
mentioning this video.
Yeah.
So, but it's out there, so we're just doing a reaction. And if you
And a
either of
good-
you are out there, join us, please.
Income for a lot of the local labor force. There was not money to be made in it. And if any of you are experiencing construction, you don't make a whole lot of money in construction. You do it because you enjoy doing it.
Okay. Now, keep in mind. Remember, I'm really unbiased, but you don't say stuff like, "Richard, I love you. I really do, and I love your channel," but
I think
no construction guy says, "Oh, I do it because I love it." You know what I'm saying?
Well,
I
he
mean-
has before. There's no money in his construction. However, that's what he says. But here's the thing. Comment, guys. Sarah, didn't they build more than one house? He keeps
No.
mentioning
I
one
get that,
house.
but what I'm saying is his words, not mine. Again,
Right.
you do construction because you love it. I'm like, dude,
No.
nobody does that.
Well,
Really?
It's just not that. His money comes from the YouTube channel because he claims he knows what he's doing, and I get his numbers and everything. But also around that, he's making money on the YouTube. That is mentioned by her. We know that by his numbers, he's making money. Okay, so because of the construction, yes, it's what's actually grown the channel. He makes that clear. Also on the side, he's had a lot of sponsorship. Pretty sure they were sponsored, and they appeared on GMA. So they built the channel up to a certain number based on being on a news station here and interviewed. Also, it would be they've done a lot of sponsorships. They even appeared here in Angel City.
No, they haven't.
to sponsor these items, which they got paid hefty for. So, well, hefty enough. So,
So to say that I used this individual to make money is completely false. It's not even close to being true. And it's quite disgusting. To say that I came over here and used someone, I definitely didn't come over here to use anyone. So to say that I was yelling at them all the time, no. And as someone who guides someone else, I am very strict with my teachings. I am very, very blunt. I don't sugarcoat things. I'm not going to come up to you and say, "Oh, it's okay, the mistake was made," and I'm not going to sugarcoat something. I'm going to let you know where you made a mistake. I'm going to correct you on it. But I did it in a way where I taught them about it.
Okay.
Pick that board
Now,
up, boy.
okay. Now that okay.
Hammer that now.
Here's the thing. Again,
I can imagine.
Again, guys, I'm really not anti-Richard. I'm really not. But this is where I'm getting at. There's a difference at yelling at somebody and yelling about somebody. What I'm saying is, I'm not. Again, this is not to do with nothing to do with Richard. What I'm saying is, watch yourselves whenever you yell. What I'm saying is, even in the U.S., there's a difference about yelling about somebody versus at somebody. Again, like
Okay.
for example, if I yell about somebody, that or this effing mother effer, this and then there's a guy in front of you versus you mother effing effer, you know, that's
I'm
a
not gonna
different story.
sugarcoat it. I've got a chip on my shoulder. I've got an attitude. I'm sure he does too. He has a certain way
Okay.
he wants things. He probably has to be tough. I've had to be tough on jobs. You either have the bosses that run you in the ground, which sometimes needs to be done, or you have the ones that are like, "That's okay. Go ahead and
Okay.
set that board over there in the corner." 4 hours later,
Okay.
the board is still sitting there and they're smoking a cigarette.
no,
That
no,
could
no,
happen.
no,
So
no.
maybe
Here's-
he was rough.
Here's the thing: you have to be.
You
And
have to be
again,
firm.
this
They're gonna
is
take a
this
nap.
is why I said there's a difference between about yelling about something or about somebody versus yelling at somebody. What I'm saying is, in a construction, you have to yell. No! Stop what you're doing.
I'm okay. No, we get that point, but I know that she's been talking on her side. Not everything that Richard's saying right now is all insinuations from comments. He Wow, that's weird. We got birds out back.
There's a bird in
our
our
backyard.
flue. But anyway,
but my guess is he will say later on, without saying his wife's name, that somebody said that they seen it from atop of a roof, and somebody saw this. Funny how they have specifics, and only they had the specifics. So in other words, only one person could have reported he was mean to the crew. He's claiming, allegedly, possibly it was her. That's what I'm saying. And I actually would believe, as I'm sorry, if I'm trying to build a house at some point, there's a level, but I'm sorry, kind of like the immigration office, and I'm just speaking my mind. I wasn't yelling. I wasn't screaming. Just because I had this look on my face doesn't mean that I'm a mean person. I just said, I'm not going to pay $1,000 to expedite something that should have been done. And at that point, the guy actually thought I was starting a fight. And I'm like, dude, so what I'm saying is maybe the crew was oversensitive. Maybe she was. Babe, you know Americans can be rude sometimes. That's all I'm saying. Maybe she was oversensitive. I'm just throwing scenarios out there. Maybe she was sensitive about him having things done.
okay. So anywho,
Yeah, oversensitive. I'm not going to stop talking on that.
that's not it.
Okay. I'm
Okay,
just saying
guys, just
that
so you guys know,
there's
I'm gonna
arm-
rewind back to what Heidi says.
things can be misunderstood by.
I guess that's the best word
Filipinos.
because I don't even know, like,
Okay, so then what was his exact words if I misspoke on the immigration guy? What did
you
he say?
you did. Nobody said you were gonna fight anybody. I mean,
Okay, step over there, and what did he say after that? You said that he told us to step over there if we were going to argue, or over there to discuss it, something.
okay,
I said
well,
around that.
again, that's not what's Jimmy Cricket's. What? Okay,
I
one,
told you that.
one again. I don't know why this was brought into life. Two is because that's not what I
you are now.
said.
See, look at you getting.
Yeah, because that's not what I said.
Okay, so
and
then,
nobody said you were gonna get into a fight, Heidi. What are you? What are
all
you
right,
talking
so
about?
then I just said a minute ago I misspoke on that.
I
But
put it on
you
mute because I'm like, what are you talking
said-
about? Nobody ever said any of those things.
Okay, then what was his sensitivity that day? Being I didn't say nothing. You said it, and all I said is I'm not.
What
gonna
he
pay
said
it.
was, why is she getting upset? Nothing to, babe. What you said and what I just
And
said.
I already took it back. So why
now
are you still talking about it?
Because
I already said
you told me
okay.
to put it off of mute,
Right.
and I'm like, what are you talking about? Nobody said any of those things.
It could be that his wife. That's why I mentioned it. That Filipinos can be very sensitive.
Okay,
And if
anyway,
he had to make
Heidi,
the construction
again,
workers
point
work,
being is one, it's
just
not
like the immigration
relevant.
guy. Yeah, it is, because he got really upset really quick when I said I won't pay the $1,000.
Okay, well, guess what? Again,
Why? Because I said
nobody
something out loud.
never mind. This is not, it's relevant but not relevant at the same time. Point being is don't get upset or in public and you can be misconstrued, kind of like this one.
Okay.
Because even I'm lost. That's why I muted it. But anyway,
Okay. Anybody else lost on this one? That
well,
his wife could
be
have seen it as sensitive, because if you don't run that crew here will run you, and a job could take months longer if you don't stay on top of them. So what if he did show a little, I mean, that's all I'm saying.
Well, that's different.
People are
Okay,
sensitive
here's
here.
the thing with construction. If you F up, it could cost a life. If you're gonna yell, you're gonna yell, period.
That's
Fact.
saying.
In most construction crews, anybody who's been in construction, most of them, when a foreman yells,
Well, that's
it's because it's probably dangerous.
right. So that's just it. I understand. Maybe she was sensitive, so I gave the sensitive idea. So I get it. So I'm just saying that there's a good chance. Plus, they're in the middle of a divorce, so they're really going to be super sensitive for sure. So that is for sure.
And any of these employees and crew members will actually testify to that or let you guys know that is the case. And not at any point in time did I degrade anyone. As a matter of fact, I've got 8 former crew members and employees that are going to be coming to assist me. So to say that I was very mean and disrespectful to the employees, at no point in time was I ever mean or disrespectful. And that comment, if anyone had a logical mind, you would pick through that comment. But I'm saying it's a fake account. For one, it was created the same day that the comment was posted. It was also created the very same day that papers were served to someone as a cease and desist.
His wife.
So that comment was then posted after a cease and desist was served upon someone. And so it was just too coincidental. Not only that, some of the things that were said in that I'm partying, I'm having all these parties. Well, the party that I threw were for the crew members. It was a crew member appreciation party that I had thrown for them. And a lot of the people that were on my first Facebook account before I had to remove it because of some of the hate and the threats that I was receiving on it, actually seen. So the Facebook post where I threw the party for the crew members that night. I even played beer pong. I told them about beer pong. And we had a good time that night. I rented karaoke for them. So the party in question was actually for the crew members. Now let's address this 8 girlfriends. So I don't know where the 8 girlfriends are coming from. Obviously, that's made up. And I tell you, that's definitely made up. We've actually been separated since last November. Now, to go further into that, for a large part of the build of this house, we didn't even live together. I'd say there was probably a full 8 months to a year that we didn't even live together before that November. Maybe for 4 months we lived together after they moved out of the first house and then came here to live in a pool house. But just those 4 months that we stayed together. Now, where was I staying? That was the other thing. I was actually staying in that steel shack that you guys always seen on the blog. I actually lived in that small steel shack for quite a few months while we built this right here. Yes, I didn't even live in the same house. And so that was always supposed to be hush-hush, kept off the video because of how it might look. Once again, how it might look. There were a lot of things that were kept from the public's eye and the vlog because of how it might look. So what I'm trying to get at is we actually haven't even slept in the same room for 2 years.
Okay, now the issue we have with this one is, well, first off, honestly, it's not going to affect the 13A. However, depending on the officer reviewing, it may or may not affect his status.
Well, here's the thing. It's a 2-year process to get your 13A. So that means when he went back in for his second part or the permanent section of it, they weren't even in the same room.
Right.
And possibly not even in the same house.
It's kind of like, think about it this way. You know how when certain individuals get their green cards in the U.S., they check up on you if you guys have a real relationship or not? This falls into the not real relationship. And again, nothing against Armstrong, but you just basically publicly said, oh, by the way, we're really not together. Now, odds are it won't affect him because, again, it's too far in the game, but it's still admission that they've been over a way long time ago.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, that's what I mean. So it's kind of one of those.
This is called a self-defense vlog because the other community posts, the other video, were done after a cease and desist that was dated on April the 1st. A lot of you have accused me of cheating on Donna. That's blatantly just not the truth at all. That's far from the truth. I have not once ever cheated on Donna, not a single time. Now, I'm not going to get into my private life with you guys. That's none of your business. But I am going to clear my name and let you guys know I have not cheated on Donna. Anything that I do is my
Okay. Let's read between the lines, and I could be wrong on this one, shall we? When a guy says, okay, first off, just so you guys know, whenever I go through a divorce or divorces or whatever, I'm making things up now. But what I'm saying is, I do marriage and boyfriend girlfriend are two different things. The proper thing to do when you're married, you don't date anybody until the divorce is final for several reasons. One, legality. Up on As long as you are married, you are still married in the eyes of the law. Keyword: eyes of the law, not your law, not her law, in the eyes of the law. Regardless of how see things, regardless of how you see things, as far as the law is concerned, is, well, you're still married. What I'm saying is, therefore, my opinion, my law that I followed is, as long as I'm married, I do not, even if I'm separated, I do not date. There's reasons for this. One, again, if, for instance, your partner's vindictive or anything like that, they can throw you under the bus because, in the eyes of the law, you're still married, especially in the Philippines. Because if you're married, if she decides to, throw the adultery law against you, you're effed.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Now,
Yeah, it's super sensitive.
correct.
Sure.
Now, reading between the lines, it's none of your business. What I do in my personal time, it's up to me. Again, I respect that. I understand. However, in the Philippines, forget the whatever I do in my personal life. I'm not with you anymore. It's up to me what I do. No, dude. If
I
you're
think
married in the Philippines, what you do in your own personal time, as long as you're not committing adultery,
everything's out in the open. She could report him on stuff. He can, but
correct.
she holds more cards than he does because enough reports by her and her family or her fans that are defending her, he could go down like a ton of bricks. The fact that he has been out of what's considered a 13A status for at least 8, 9 months by his own accountings today could actually really put him in trouble
Put it this way.
because it takes 2 years to complete the 13A.
Let's say you're under legal separation. Legal separation meaning, for example, I'm with Filipina, just an example. Again, I didn't see you cited because a lot of you probably use it against me. So let's say I married a Filipina and I legally separated from her. If I decide to go out date and screw other Filipino women, that Filipino wife of mine can sue me for adultery. Yes,
And
regardless of separation.
all right, so yeah, on the side note, I have to mention, if it's not mentioned, I mean, we did earlier, they were married online in the United States. That doesn't mean that all the rules online, or for the US is applying here. They're still a married couple here in the Philippines. And evidently, okay, when you get married online, you're to register your marriage with the Philippine government. It is also the actual law. So they know about it, and all the rules still apply, even with the marriage online. He's still using those documents to apply for 13A, which means that's accepted by the Philippines that they're married once again. So it doesn't matter if they were married online or not.
No, right.
And
No,
his
no,
status is
they're
still
married.
to
They're married.
13.
Yes, because they
Right.
reported it.
Yeah, the
Yes.
same. Yeah, the same with us. So
So again, I get they're separated for 2 years or whatever he claims. Again,
they've only been together for 3, by the way.
no, I know that's kind of makes it worse, but that's why I said. But anyway, regardless, again, married is married, regardless separated or not. They're still married. What I'm saying is, if he has a female companion right now, or even male, that's still adultery, and he could still go into serious
Yeah, because
trouble for that.
yeah. So
private life now that we're separated is my business. Anywhere that I go is my business. And so for someone to
That's it.
say that I cheated on her with someone from Ormoc is 100% incorrect and definitely not true. I came over here and I worked my ass off day.
Okay, so the key word is he never cheated on her. I guess in his mind, if he did, first off, he already admitted it's not Ormoc, so he's saying the right statement. I didn't cheat on her in Ormoc. Okay. Also, he doesn't probably consider it cheating, being he's already filed for divorce and they're already separated. Because it's the way he's
Correct,
actually.
but
So you got to
cheat.
listen to the
Okay,
key words.
okay. Do I think Armstrong cheated? No, I don't. However, again, doesn't mean that you guys are separated. It doesn't mean in the eyes of the law, not me, not Georgia's law, not Heidi's law. In the Philippine law, are they still married? Yes. In the yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to find Sarah said
So
something.
that's what I'm trying to say here is again, the law doesn't care what you see, doesn't care what she sees, doesn't care what he sees. On paper, they're still married, and that's where I was getting at again.
Yeah, I see
In
where
and day
Sarah
out, 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. I worked my ass off. Now, to say that this person did nothing but the cooking and the cleaning and did all of this stuff while making the vlogs, while working, while doing all this. Now, for all of you that have watched the vlog over the last few years, we always had a live-in caretaker who did cooking, who did cleaning. So I'm trying to figure out where all this, that they had all this work to come from, because the living caretaker did most of that all the time, the cooking and the cleaning. The other channel barely did any of the cooking and occasionally did some of the cleaning.
Now, I pause it because remember I said that she made a video, Donna made a video about the separation and everything. This is one of her gripes, but point being is it's not a serious gripe. And like she says, well, I had to, do video. I had to video the occurrences. I had to edit the occurrences, and then I have to cook and clean. This is why he brought this up.
I think at this point, honestly, I think both sides are over exaggerating. And I think it's just a good old fashioned divorce, because when she was on her channel, we both agreed it looked like crocodile tears. She seems to go in one direction, but then she smooths it over by saying it's not his fault, but I miss him. And she goes kind of sways both ways. But to me, her channel will become a typical Filipina channel where she knows there are simps out there and people that are willing to donate and do all these things. Because the way I perceived it when she was talking is she was just hurting all the way around.
I agree.
Financially devastated because she was left behind. Previous video, because the channel was started 3 months ago. And all of her stuff is putting her daughter out there and how she's surviving and scratching and trying to make it. And then in this last video, she does go on about what job can I get, and how she said she didn't have an education. And didn't she go on about all that in her video? I'm almost sure of that one. I mean, I've watched a lot of Filipino.
Now, okay, here's the thing.
She put all that into the video.
Again, I really like the Armstrongs, both parties, and again, I'm not trying to be mean to either of them. However, there's nothing that Donna can't do that she couldn't have done before. What I'm saying is, did Steve come into your life and make your life better to a certain degree? Yes, regardless of how you would argue about it. However, if Steve pulls out, no, honestly, did you lose 2 good, happy years of your life? Probably. Did those 2 good years of your life changing towards you? Honestly, at this point in stage in your life, no. What I'm saying is, if you the point in time that Steve went into your life and about to leave, it's not gonna make a impact in your life.
Well, I've heard it's been said that the Filipinos were living before and they'll live afterwards.
Correct. What I'm saying is,
so-
it's different if Steve showed up when you're 18 and then he ruined you. There's a different story there. However, Steve came into your life. You already have 2 kids. Before him, he basically picked you guys up, then carried, you guys lived a happy year together, then broke up, but still together, and then he's leaving. What I'm saying is,
Okay, you're hanging on the edge of the screen. I've been waving you in.
oh, okay. Well, what I'm saying is,
and
Steve didn't he's not making a life-changing
Yeah,
thing in
Yeah.
your life. That's what I'm getting at.
that is true.
So, but yeah, reiterate once again, there was never
Richard, sorry, not Steve. Sorry.
Oh, and real quick, yes, on the 13A, it is his responsibility. Is it automatic that, I said it earlier, but I've seen more comments come in. The 13A will not automatically drop off. That is for him to change that over. As a matter of fact, it was his responsibility some time ago when his wife wasn't in the house to change his status, being he likes to file legal stuff.
Right. That's what I mean. That the 13A and
Not an
his
opinion of fact.
legality to work.
They can come back on them in every single stage. They could say, like I said, you should have filed this on this date, and you've been working X amount of time, so you owe us fees for this, that, this, and that. Will an attorney take care of all that? Probably. So I'm just saying that.
Yeah,
his
that's all
13A
up to
is out
them
of
on how they
status,
play it
and
out.
it's not automatic. It's up to him to file all
Correct.
that. And there are rumors that she has filed stuff against him with immigration. So who's to say?
Right.
A lot of emails on this, guys.
any abuse during the time that we were together. I never used her. I never cheated on her. And I treated my employees and the crew members with a lot of respect and dignity to be done and over with. I want to get away from here. I want to get away from the other channel, and I just want to be done with it. That's all I've got to say. I just want to be done and away. I'm so sick and tired of this he said, she said BS. I just want to get away. If that tells you guys anything, I just want to get away. I just want the past to the past. I'm trying to move forward. And so to think that I used someone when I literally spent every last dollar I had to support and send money over here to support them every single month, it's kind of far-fetched to think that I used someone. Why would I give someone all my money, then come over here, leave a well-paying job in the United States just to use someone and make less money or make no money? But this is the last video you're going to see from me as far as this topic. This is, like I said, to defend myself, to set the record straight about a lot of things. I'm not doing this for drama. I'm not doing this for views. I'm clearing the air. So until we see you guys on the next video, maybe 1, 2, 3 months from now, stay safe.
Now,
Who's this we? He did say we, didn't he?
well, he's probably just used to the old.
I've got a lady in his pocket.
Well,
4 times 2 is 8.
if
ladies,
he
I got 8 ladies.
if he does
on the
again, I don't blame
side.
him. However, again, be aware that it's probably not a good idea.
2 in the kitchen, 3 in
Right.
the shower, 3 outside.
Until you're
digging
divorced,
a
it's
hole,
smarter
building a
not to
house.
date. Period. I'm just saying for you guys out there or women, depending on your case,
That's because he said there were 8. Sorry.
especially if you're American. Again, I don't know how UK and Australian laws cover, but in the US, it's best not to date while married. Not even date.
Yeah, because her title, I want to let you know again, both links are in the description. Her title says, "My American husband and I are now separated." She said, "Did I cheat?" So that was, but she really puts a lot of stuff up in that actual video.
Okay, in all fairness, again, both parties, I honestly believe none of them cheated on each other.
After could be a different.
After is a different story.
Yes, he
Yes.
didn't
Or
exactly
after
sound-
the separation. Because remember, but guys, remember, here's the thing. Doesn't matter if you're separated. If you're separated but not divorced, you can still be charged adultery, which will land you in prison/jail. So just saying, guys, just saying,
Someone said in the comment section, after I watched this video, I was curious because Donna did not say any of these things. And
Right.
That's where we agree.
Thank you. That's what I've been saying,
She
Richard.
did not
If you had not
say
made this
anything
video,
bad.
I'm like, dude, what are you talking about?
I mean, there were some things that she
there's-
carried on about.
Right.
That
The
is
thing
true.
she said is, again, that Richard did cover is her cooking, cleaning, and editing the videos. Yes, she did mention that on her video. Guys, you guys ever
There were
noticed?
some things. The stuff that he mentioned wasn't, but he was saying the comment section. He was saying
Right.
that somebody created, which he's insinuating her,
But
that created an account to
for
come
the
in and say
most part,
stuff.
he outed
But
himself.
she did right, but she did go on about other things, other total different things.
Right. See, that's the thing.
There are 2 kids. Did you put? I didn't see the single part about him. Did he mention the single mother thing?
Yes, no,
Okay,
no.
so yeah, she has 2 children by 2 different dads, and yes, in one of her videos, she mentions the child support.
No, somewhat weird, and I say weird because again, I'm not at. Again, I love this well, used to love this
They
family.
lost me on all the construction.
But what I'm saying is,
We watched them on. Yeah, I did.
I think it's kind of weird that he says, "Well, you really think that I chose a middle-aged Filipina?"
That's what he
And I'm
said.
like, dude, why'd you mention that? The fact that you mention it now, I question it. It's like, oh well, did you really think I picked a middle-aged Filipina? Middle age, okay.
Someone said, never marry a single mom. They are damaged goods.
Well,
I'm sad to hear about your predicament. I wouldn't call it a predicament anymore.
now the single mom thing. I mean, again, I said something in one of their older lives again, like
Snap.
the only way you would find a single mom, I mean, not a single mom, is if you grew up and went to high school during your high school years and met your high school sweetheart and then took them out of high school.
Could have met Chrissy K the way what's his name did. Looked her right off the farm. What are you doing? A lot of them did. A lot of them are marrying women under the age of 20. We're saying there's nothing wrong with the age gap. That's how they actually do it.
Yeah, but does it mean they're under the age of 20? They don't have kids.
This person said, you got rid of the money pit, so congratulations to you. She is straight up gold digger that got 50% of your stuff for playing the long game. I wouldn't call 3 years the long game. 3 years for criming out, but he said you got half your stuff for a
remember,
long
it's
game.
it's
Go on and celebrate in Angeles City. That gold digger will be crawling back and begging for you
that's a really
after the divorce.
That's a really long way from Angel City, but yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Ilocos is north of Zambales. Zambales is about an hour and a half away, so that would make Ilocos somewhat about 3 hours away, maybe.
Washing your dirty laundry online could be a way of getting more views, but it has a cost of you losing face in Asia. But in the end, nobody of the viewers, and I'm just reading what the comment says, gives a shit how this ends as long as they are entertained. And that's true. Out of thousands and thousands or over 1.5 million views, we've probably had a total of probably 100 that we've had to delete or actually was caught by YouTube, and that people will actually say something like, you guys cover gossip and drama, and we're like, thank you. But that they just want to be entertained too. So we said we're an entertainment channel.
And that's where I was getting at with Richard again. Richard, if you're watching, he was busy concentrating on defending himself against these commenters. Okay, I put air quotes because again, there's alleged that these commenters aren't real in the first place. Which again, like, well, that's part of that. My argument is like, one, these commenters are probably not real. 2, these commenters were never on your side if they are saying stuff about you. What I'm saying is, it doesn't matter how straight up guy you are. These commenters that said crap about you are going to talk crap about you, even if you were Mother Teresa. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, at the end of the day, we're a YouTube channel, and Entertainment Tonight is just entertainment. And there are channels that are out there in the industry where there's thousands and thousands of channels. They're fans, but there's only so many true fans like us. We know where the base of our fanship is. It's the ones that watch our regular videos, our expat help videos, that email. And so we know where they actually are. So there's really, the problem is some of them, like her channel and his channel, they seen him as friends.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Realistically, even with fanship, for example, there's some that like me and some hate me. Same thing with Heidi. Some like her, some hate her. But point being is there's always somebody who's always on Heidi's side, no matter what she does or say. There's some people on my side, regardless of what I say or do.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would just start.
So that's what I'm saying. He was addressing the side of the ones that are obviously against him, even if they were real.
Hmm.
Copies of Steve. This one should be interesting to watch. Conflict says, I hear she reported him for. No, well, she can't. He can work with a 13A. Yes, and no, not being held for deportation.
We have opened up the room, and we'll go through comments that are pertaining to this right now. And anybody that wants to come on and discuss the divorce thing or add something to this divorce, actually
Right.
feel free.
Now, the legality of it is for those of you who are on a 13A, you don't need an SWP. SWP is called a special work permit. Work permit. You're not required to. However, you are still as a company owner, which Richard did address. Richard said the company belongs to her. That's what he said, and the company still belongs to her. So
right,
that
but he kept saying my employees and
no, I understand that.
so
But what I'm saying
he's-
is, he basically put all the liability on her. I'm just saying what he did. I'm not saying I agree or
I would have
disagree.
just been, if that would have been me and you in that exact example, you probably just wouldn't have done anything. You wouldn't even have made that video.
No,
I
no,
wouldn't have. If
no,
you
no,
were
I wouldn't
holding all
have. I
those
wouldn't have.
cards,
But what I'm saying is,
I
his
wouldn't have said
13A
nothing
would have been enough
because
to
it's
cover him.
evident
Period.
he is the one running that company. So then she could throw the anti-dummy law, hire somebody in, and turn his life and shake him upside down. But I don't think she's going to.
Well,
So
that'll
she's a
affect her
Philippine.
too, though, because she's part of the dummy. She would be the dummy, literally.
She could say.
No, I mean, I'm not. I'm using the anti-dummy law reference. No, I'm not calling her dummy. I'm saying in the
Right, but it's
anti-dummy law, the
evident.
dummy is the front, the
Yeah, but it's
face.
evident that he's the one running the company. All she's got
No,
to say
I
is
get
he
it. I
kind
get
of
it.
put her in that position.
I
It
get
just
it.
kind of depends.
Right.
So yeah.
Hey, Sarah, how you doing?
Hey, Sarah.
Hey, K Dallas, how you doing, K Dallas?
Hey, AJ.
AJ. Hey, Manny, how you doing, Manny? Manny C. Hey, Bruce. Yeah, you should never air out your dirty laundry, especially on YouTube. Hey, Farsight, how you doing? And Lara says, Mark Sarn, why do we have a baby?
Yeah, I know. Makes him feel young. That's
Well,
what's
I
actually
have
going
nothing
on.
against Mark siring an heir. However, be aware that
That's
on a plus side and minus side on his behalf, I'm not talking about any what other people's opinion is. I'm saying on Mark Thorne's viewpoint, he'll probably won't see the child hit the teenage years.
Well, he's already 68 in his health condition.
That's what I said, and everybody knows teenage years are the worst years there are.
Yeah. So yeah.
Taxman says, do not report your marriage to the Philippines if you're married in the U.S.
Well, by law, you're supposed to, no matter where you're at. And the moment he applied for the 13A, this all needs to be done. So I know they say not to, but you're supposed to.
Okay, I know AJ Hop doesn't do this. My wife and I have never. Oh well, he said never. Never mind, I misunderstood. My wife and I never publicly post on social media our disagreements between us all. Hey Brent, how you doing? Hey Rudy from Guam. Hector Gubat says the ingredients are all there. Divorce out there on YouTube. Husband running business under wife's name. Working on construction while using it for YouTube content. One kid, etc. Well, there's two kids,
That or
not
somebody
his
else.
kids.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, they never, I mean, honestly, I never once heard when I first started watching him that wasn't his daughter because I was calculating because when he arrived, she was really young. She was still in diapers. So I was assuming they had met up prior. But until recently, till I seen her channel that started 3 months ago and him saying officially they're not, then but I mean it really doesn't matter. They were a family or they are, I'm sure. So it's sad. What was the
You guys are just at it today, aren't you guys?
Yeah, it would
I can't even read this stuff on
I would
on YouTube.
Yeah, I would just
Um,
keep going
right.
through it. The man is in the house.
Hey, surfing blackies. You're right. I thought her kids was his. No, apparently not.
Until I seen, I told Georgia, said I was like, those aren't his kids, because she talks about getting support from her prior, and she has an older child. So, but allegedly they're from two different guys, and she's
Well, that's what I mean. Unless up until Richard said anything, most of us guys were like, "Those ain't his." Mom. That's what I'm getting at. It's like if he hadn't put out the video himself, a lot of people would be like, "Oh, okay. Well, what the frick is this?" You know what I'm saying? Um, Radar says she didn't give any indication. She got half the sale and entire company completely. Her first
no, she
videos look
did
more
not.
down and out and recent. Okay, now
Mhm.
here's
She
the
was
thing.
playing it, honestly.
In all fairness, Radar, again, I'm not going against what she said and what he said, because they both confirmed what they both said. They both said that the company is under her. And now what I was getting at is, I get that the company's under her, and I get that, but here's the thing: without him, the company's pretty much defunct. So
I mean, he can apply for an SRRV
he'll be
and
fine.
then get another setup and then apply for a company in his name. But this kind of affects everybody. So if he had a set of employees and planned to build more things, and then he's going to have to start from scratch and
Right.
everything.
I mean,
So
it's kind of like, first off, let's say I'm a photographer, which I'm not. Let's say I'm a photographer and I have a great photography business in the Philippines, for example. Let's say, all right, let's reverse it. Let's say Heidi's a photographer and I'm the Filipino, and Heidi's the best photographer in the world, and she starts taking pictures of and portraits of everybody, and the company's in my name, and then let's say we broke up and Heidi's gone. I'm left with the company, but without her, that company's dead.
he already
Without
made
him,
that clear that
that
go
company's
ahead.
dead.
Yeah, go ahead. And of course she's not. She's not going to go rehiring
Right.
people and buy land and put money up. And
Right. That's what I'm saying. So without him, the company's dead. So it's kind of like, does she have a company? Yeah, but it's a dead company at this point.
yeah. Bruce is down there. Let him in while we go through the comments.
Hey Bruce, how's it going?
Hey Bruce, what's going on?
Hey MYK Mike, how's it going?
Hey, what's up?
Ah,
What's
just
up,
in
guys?
time. I was
Am I
waiting for you to come on in there, Mike. What's up?
Bruce, your
Nothing
audio's
much.
like, you're like you sound like a I don't know what.
Sound like I'm underwater.
What is that?
Does it sound like I'm
That was so
underwater?
weird.
Yeah, you sound modulated. You sound like a robot.
That just sounded weird. Oh, there he went out. So what's going on, Mike? What do you think of this divorce thing?
I've only
Now that
seen a
he's-
few. I've only seen like one of their video. I didn't even know that they're getting a divorce.
Yeah, exactly. See, that's the point. Is like most people don't even know up until Richard put up his video.
Well, we knew about this. Our little
No.
our British expat friend actually did a video about, I don't know, 12 days ago when she released something. We knew her channel existed, but until they fully said, because a lot of times she was missing during the construction or their other videos and stuff. But according to them, they've pretty much 8-9 months haven't even been in the same house, 2 years not even in the same bed. They've only been married 3 years. So we were just discussing just on and off the possibilities of this, his 13A. It's up to him to change that status. Could immigration find out? Could it be she reported? We kind of just went through a couple scenarios on
So is he
this.
tourist?
Huh?
Is he a tourist visa?
No,
No,
he's on a
13A. He's
13A.
13A.
But
Oh,
he
because
said for almost.
he got married. They got married through Utah, right? So
Well, they
'cause they
got
make-
married online through Utah.
Yeah, so-
He was in the
yes, that's
US. It was
Utah.
during the pandemic. He came up. So they've only
Hmm.
been totally married and together for about 3 years. He's
Okay.
saying for 2 years they haven't even been in the same room or bedroom. And for 7-8 months they haven't even been in the same house. So probably during his probationary, possibly they weren't even in the same house, but it is up to him to change that status for sure.
Yeah,
And
so
then
that's that's buyer's remorse. He got buyer's remorse. He just got horny during the pandemic, and then all of a sudden he meets a girl, and he started a new life, and so he puts himself in. He arrives in the Philippines, and that's what happens. You see this happen so many times with guys that have never met the girl first, and it's just kind of crazy how that kind of happens, but it always it by far majority it happens with this buyer remorse thing that occurs. So he has a business you were talking about, right?
construction. He says that it's technically hers, but he keeps saying how it's hers and then how he hired. He taught her
Hmm.
things. She's on her other channel saying how he showed her everything. But yeah,
Okay.
allegedly the company is hers, but he's really going on about what he pays his employees. And it's evident that it's his company.
Well, I mean, legally it's
Well,
hers, but
it's hers, and then here's another big mistake, right? So, if he came in with a 13A visa, then technically he could have worked on putting the name of the company together with him. But
correct.
I guess apparently he didn't even bother doing that because if he came with a tourist, he can't do that. But with a 13A, you can be partial owner with somebody in a business in the Philippines.
But he didn't. He came here. He
Exactly.
came in as married. Remember, you have to bring your spouse in to get the billing buy-in for the year or whatever. He came
Mhm.
in by himself. So then he switched to, as I'm to understand, the 13A down the road. And he
Okay.
said the
So
construction company was not their original ideal. The channel started out, they were on GMA because they were a pandemic couple.
of
So they
course.
ended up on GMA. He was bragging how they had 29,000 subscribers, and it was him that later decided to do the construction channel, and how he does a wonderful SEO, and most people don't understand the search
Mhm.
engine optimization, which he didn't break that down. He just called it SEO, and how well he does, and it was him that caused the channel to soar.
Is
And
that so? Is the 29,000 the construction channel or
no,
is
that was no, it's at 170 right now, thousand. That
okay?
was just from them being on GMA and marrying online. So
Well,
they
they just have
had promoted another company for online marriages during the pandemic. They had little
that's funny.
commercials.
That's funny. So yeah, so he has several problems here. It's her company. He has to give it up to her. If she wants to take it, she can take it.
Well, yeah,
That's
he already gave it to her. Yeah.
so he already gave it to her. So good for him. Um, but now from now on, any companies that he starts, he can't unless he gets a dummy owner.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct. And see, now this is wherein lies the issue. He's in the middle of a job right now, aka construction
Yes, he
build.
is in the middle.
13A is gonna about to dissolve. Now, whether or not how fast it hits,
Well, he
I
has
don't
to change it
I don't
himself.
know. But point being is technically he's still working under a 13A, technically.
Right, but if she reports, as we're to understand by a few emails, then he's kind of in trouble, being they haven't lived together for 8 months. So can't they come back on the all of that, being nothing's been going on for 8 months, right?
The problem that he has right now is I don't know what's his setup. Has he like registered his channel to the BIR? That's my next big thing.
Yeah,
He
well,
can't deny
that
that
that was
doubt it.
just a
because
side guess
I
on
doubt it.
that.
then you
But
take it that he's using YouTube to advertise a company, right? So there's so many different things that are
oh,
working in
Well,
there. If
he's
somebody's
oh,
smart
sponsored.
enough,
Mr.
they can.
He's
Cutter, he's
sponsored.
sponsored.
He's sponsored.
Not
He's
only is
heavily
he being,
sponsored.
yeah, he's got other sponsors. He's got a big
Mm,
company like the generators are solar powered. And he specifically
mhm.
kept saying, I'm sponsored, we're
Well, in the
sponsored.
bricks.
Yeah, he's
So
got the bricks
He's
and
got
that
special
special bricks for the
yeah.
company. And he's got 2 or 3 construction companies that he's being sponsored through. So he's got extra
He's
stuff
heavily
going on.
sponsored.
So I would hope with all this legality talk where he said that he served a cease and desist on his wife about
he
talking about him personally and all that, that he would have handled all of his legal business.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's the
so
irony that his wife gets the company and yet he asks the company. That's the
yeah.
irony of it.
So a good situation here that can look at, right? So there's this actress slash comedian named Pokwang.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
So, you know, very, 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 we'll say exotic Filipina. So she found herself her prince, white knight, whatever, this white dude, whitest as a white can be, right?
Yeah.
And
I
so
know these
he gets into acting and stuff like that. He got into some acting gigs, some sponsorships, and all those things. But her and the guy ended up separating, and because she was pretty much taking care of him and all those kind of things, right? So
Mhm.
she put charges on him because he was not taking care of the kid that they shared together, ugly kid. But the thing though is that
Dang, Mike.
Dang, my.
so the thing that goes with that is, if you look at that particular situation, she went to the immigration, and he just actually got deported, I think, like a week ago.
Yeah, I seen that. Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
mean, so it's pretty hilarious. You can if he tries it out with her a little bit, she can really go after him. His
Yes.
and then the next question is this. Here's the next question. They got married in the US, right?
Yes.
Well, online. She
online.
was here. Their whole relationship was pretty much online.
Doesn't matter. The marriage is still based in the US. Did
Correct.
they register the marriage in the Philippines?
Yes. Yes.
Because if they did
I'm
not
unsure of that.
register,
No, they did. They did, because he specifically stated he has to register the divorce for it to be recognized in the Philippines.
Yeah,
said
he
that.
said
Okay.
that he'll be serving her and he'll be filing something to end it
Correct.
here too.
So that means he
so
registered.
so he's gonna, the best thing to do is get the divorce in the US, so you have that.
Yeah,
Get
he
the
has
divorce in
that.
the
He said
US.
it should be done in a day or two.
So good for him, but his problem is getting it taken away in the Philippines is another year and a half.
Mm.
Takes a while.
Which then leaves us to, again, I did mention earlier before you were on, Mike, that I believe here in the Philippines doesn't mean you're separate. You can have relations with other people.
Yeah, so you, until it shows that you guys are divorced or the
Correct.
marriage is no longer recognized in the Philippines, if you as a person, so there's that even if they say we have legal separation, like you can, for legal separation in the Philippines, you have to go to court for it, right? So
Right.
and that takes 1.5 years to 2 years. Okay. So when you have that situation, just because you're legally separated, you hook up, you being found in a hotel room with a girl, you being seen kissing a girl, all of that is fair play for considered cheating. Now,
Correct.
So
here's the thing that
and it
the thing-
sounds like he's saying
And that's
that
what I said.
during the marriage he never cheated, but he's sure like leaking that there's
Separation doesn't mean it's
possibly-
okay. You're
right.
So
So
he
thinks there
cannot-
is somebody.
yeah, he cannot get charged with adultery in the Philippines. He can't. So they can't go after him for adultery. Now, if he, for example, is betting the girl, meaning the girl lives with him, what they, binahay niya, kasambahay niya, or he's paying for things for her to be able to afford her living expenses, then she can hit him with concubinage right there. But so you have that. Then her next choice is to go in the vowsy charge, because then this also affects her and affects her now psychologically, but she's gonna have to prove that as well. And then that can be put up against him for psychology, for psychological abuse. Okay. So and then the next thing is he giving her an agreed sustento, like her monthly allowances and stuff like that? Because if he's not doing that, then she can also hit him with financial abuse as well. So that's the recourse that she's going to be able
So
to
he
do with
still
it.
owes her a salary every month, although that's not his kid or anything. Until the divorce
Until there's a divorce, until there's that agreement and that separation, you are in charge of that girl.
So then I'd have to pay for George if he left to go live with his family.
If whoever makes the most money.
Oh, snap. Well, okay.
So that's the situation that so the best move here for him is not to piss her off.
Right.
and
Well,
then
he
Hope.
just served your papers to stop.
Okay.
He actually made the full
Cease and desist.
accusation that there was an account created by somebody that
Mhm.
actually knows about every single move I make and only things that would be known by somebody that knows my life. And he flat out, in my opinion, said that it was her that's been saying in his comment section all these nasty things. He says
Okay.
he's been threatened, he's been this, and her talking about everything about him, he wanted it all to stop. So he actually had her served. Her stuff stopped about 12 days ago.
Right. And my issue with this whole story again, Richard, if you're watching, again, I love you, man, but here's the issue I have
George loves
with the story is I understand you have a lawyer. I understand he has a lawyer, but here's the problem. He is a US lawyer.
He has to have a
So
so he's using his US lawyer for that?
for the divorce, and
Divorce.
he's advising him, I believe, under pretext of US
He would have
laws.
to have a Filipino person.
He would
serving
You
need
have to have a
both.
Filipino lawyer. Those are
He would need
two
both.
separate
Right.
things.
He'll
One
need
to
both.
advise him on legalities here,
Right.
because the lawyer's advising him on legalities. I'm pretty sure in U.S. laws, but not the Philippine laws. But I mean,
No, the divorce is going through an American
right,
attorney
which
and all
is
that. And
what
he's got
that
to
lawyer
have
is
That's fine.
for. Correct.
Right, but he has to have the Filipino.
Correct. The Filipino side, and
Yeah, he
that's
has
the
to-
feeling I got when he served the cease and desist. I'm like, this doesn't feel right to me.
And
And he
and
said,
the,
this is the last video that I'm going to put out about this. It was his only video. And he first had the comment section turned off, and it said at the beginning of his inside, it said, I might turn it on later. It didn't take him long. It took him less than a day to turn it on to let people see the comments. And they're all over the place. Called her a gold digger and this, and that. Now, when we seen her stuff 12 days ago, we
Mhm.
watched her. And before we heard from him, she did part of it in Tagalog, and she said that it was translate. You said most of it wasn't translated
Well,
correctly.
the thing I found interesting about her video, okay, and the reason why I didn't again put it on the live today is one, she really didn't say anything, and that's what I said. I'm like, Richard, she barely said anything, and I'm like, if you hadn't put out your video, nobody would know anything. And it's one of those. The only thing that he addressed in her video that actually was there is that she cooked, cleaned, edited the video. That's the only thing that was in his video that was in her video. The rest is not there.
Well, he's saying he paid somebody.
But
she
what I'm
didn't do
saying
all of
is
that.
either one, she has a really good head on her shoulder, or she already has a lawyer because she knows what not to say.
Okay. In my opinion, she's kept it on the down low. She has slowly leaked like she's by herself. Her channel is 3 months old. And everything in there to me is a form of as like, look what happened to me. In that video, she discussed how she doesn't have much of an education. What am I going to do? Previous video was my ex is sending me child support. Why I never accepted child support. It's because I gave my entire life to him, to Richard, and that's all I did was do. And so, yes, babe, some of her videos
It's
go on and
basically
on.
a sympathize channel kind of deal right now.
Right.
well, so
So
the 3 months. This has been going on for 3 months.
Yes.
well,
Yeah, she's
her
got
channel,
a,
yes.
she's
Her
got a
channel,
couple
her-
foreigners helping her out already by now.
Well,
Right.
yes, I agree that she's already. So it's just another messy expat divorce. Same thing, married online or long distance. LDR, where they fell in love with the ideal of the dream Filipina. And she doesn't have one, but 2 children. I'm not sure if the first one's by a foreigner. She looks Filipino. But she's got an older
Mm.
daughter that she met. It's an older teenage daughter that she met a long time ago. They traveled to go see her or something, but
Mhm.
it looks like he's claiming that people were really threatening him and that there was a whole thing about the employees. So me and George got into that earlier about the employees. There was an insinuation he mistreats the employees. And I said, I can see that on a construction site because if you leave those groups alone, I could say, hey, Mike, could you see me and George on a construction site? George would be like, can you just put those bricks over there? 4
Mhm.
hours later, they're still over there. get them damn bricks over there, man. What's going on? I didn't got all day. So I said, I get the American way and the chips on our shoulder. But if you
Mhm.
had a Filipino running that construction site, it would take 3 years to build something that could take 4 to 6 months. And so she made some insinuation, and so did the people, that he was very, very mean. And I can see that from an American. I really can.
Well,
Yeah,
Because I said,
because,
even if he's not, it would look like it. And I gave the example of what appeared that I was upset at immigration, and I didn't even bat an eye, but I guess my gestures, it was all over my face that I didn't want to pay $1,000 when I knew it didn't take 6 months to process a 13A. So the look of
yeah, no,
disgust was in my face, and he thought I was upset. And I'm like, no, I'm not upset. I don't want to pay $1,000 when it's only 200. So, but nope, I'm sure there's a misunderstanding on that, or maybe he is. Maybe he is a really bad boss.
yeah, it's like, this is gonna be this is the song for her. That's a new single mom song right now.
Oh my God.
It's a clip, but no, the thing though is like it's just he's got a lot of he. This is what happens when you don't prepare yourself. This is when you don't you don't pay attention to what you're doing. I mean, so it's like how many times like I have to say like I'm so sorry, but my red flag list wins.
Mm.
My red flag list wins
My
all
no
the time.
divorce policy wins.
So it's
Okay.
like people need to really understand like there's like stop buying women because that's what these guys are doing. All these guys are doing is buying women, whether upfront saying I'm going to give you this or down low I'm going to do this, and then that's what you deal with, and I think you get before I logged on, you guys were talking about more than likely, if he leaves the business to her, it's just going to go down the drain anyways,
Yeah, it's
right?
just gonna go down the drain.
So that's going to happen. That's gonna that's a highly potential thing that's going to happen. But then at the same time for him, it's like it looks like he's a business minded person.
Yeah.
But the thing though is he's not street smart. And it's like, and it sucks how it kind of always shows out. It's like the thing though is like I don't know, like I have nothing wrong with somebody if there's a single mom out there where she followed the right thing, got married, got a job, got head in whatever, and then I don't know, the husband dies. Unfortunately, in the Philippines, there's not really any separate. There's no such thing as divorce and stuff like that. So I mean, okay, I can understand that. We could reason out certain things about that. But this whole notion that here's this woman without an education, admitting no education.
correct.
You're saying, and then don't forget the fact that I think you guys were saying, I'm not too sure, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, that her children are from different men.
That's what
Okay.
he said. Yes.
So if right there alone is already the biggest problem, that the woman spreads her legs.
Her daughter was young, like when they got together. That's why I thought the baby was literally his. And until just recently, they didn't let on to that. But when he arrived, that baby was really young. So
How old?
that baby had to be 2 months old when they got together.
So
And
that
then
so that
by the time
means
they got married and came over, she was older, But I thought
so
it was
that's
his
another
daughter.
problem. It's like
She's
why are you
only
marrying a
3
pregnant woman?
3 or
Why are you
4.
marrying a pregnant woman?
Oh, she might be 4. I'm not sure.
Like so it's like more than likely he met her while she was pregnant, right?
I would say that she was, if I had to really guess, when I said 3 or 4, she's probably more like 5. So she was definitely 18 months. She was in a diaper on one of the videos, like when she was at the house and stuff. So maybe she was 2.
Yeah.
So
So
she
right
was
there.
probably a year old, maybe when they met or something, maybe 2.
Yeah. So that's a problem also. It's like, it's like you think that you're gonna be the person that she's gonna pay attention to. No, that child needs a lot of time and effort and stuff like that. So you're
Like
not going to
Happy
be the
Mark
number.
Gordon.
Yeah, you're not going to be the number one thing for a family and stuff like that. I mean, the most successful relationships that happens between somebody who's a single mom and let's say a single father and stuff like that. I don't know if he has any children. Is when both sides come in together where the children are above the age of 15,
Yeah, his
right?
son is. He's got a 18 or 19-year-old now.
Well, I'm saying all children that's going to be involved
Right,
in the
right.
relationship are above the age of 15, right? So, and of course, no crazy baby mama or baby daddy issues. And so you have that problem that exists. The fact that these children are super young, he doesn't have any investment in the whole thing. Like,
That was something else. I'm glad somebody mentioned that. We were going to mention this before if we ever covered this. I guess he had a full interest of doing 90 Day Fiance.
so is he one of those guys that wants to be on in TV and just trying to
Yes, he
push it and
wanted to
stuff like that?
be on another show too. What was the other
Okay.
one I told you about? One of those talent shows.
Yeah,
He was one.
so
He's
he's
into
doing that for
reality
X
TV.
Factor.
X Factor, something like that. So he was really wanting to. She said he did nothing but watch him. She said this on her own. The last video she put out and hasn't done one since. She said he wanted to do 90 Day Fiance, and she had agreed, but they never got on there. But then they screenshotted, and this is still in his community post about they were so super excited about being on GMA, about their online marriage. They were super proud of it, the LDR, how love came together, and
Well, the GMA catapulted the channel to 35,000 subs.
yeah,
And after hitting 35,000 subs, he was not happy with that. And he says, "Oh, I know what we can do.
construction,
can do
which
house
is what he
builds."
does. Yeah.
yeah,
So, and
so
that's where
he's
he
one of
said he
those
turned
guys
around.
that are late bloomer trying to like there's no difference when you just have a channel, you're pretty good and stuff like that, you do your thing and stuff like that, but he's trying to become a reality TV star. And so
Mhm.
right there alone, his mental state is not there and stuff like that. Because number one, once again, why are you going to put your woman out there to be ridiculed? Okay, because that's what it's all about. I mean, 90 Day Fiance in the Philippines is like, man, look at this girl. Like, guys need to fully understand what the stuff a woman is going to go to, whether a good Filipina or a bad Filipina. Just on the superficial level of things, you walking around with a Filipina has an obvious age gap relationship with you, there's going to be a lot of talks that's going to happen and going to be given to that woman about that woman in front of her while you guys are walking by, behind her back, online, and everything like that. So you have to be ready and say, is this Filipina that I'm choosing has a thick skin? Like, can she handle this? And if she can't, then there's a problem. And then you bring in, YouTube. Now
Yep.
the ridicule is gonna start going there even further. Then you
Mhm.
start bringing in TV. So it's like it's no wonder that maybe that their relationship never even worked out because, like you said, they've been
Correct.
separated for longer period of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
8
the
months
moment
out
they
of the house at
landed,
least.
relationship's been over, and
They haven't
so
even been in the same bed for 2 years, and he put all of that out. I'm thinking, I would have left that out. Like, if me and George broke up, I'd have left all of that out if we were, and it's but YouTube will definitely make it hard. It's not, we don't hide the fact that this past December, I just hit a level where I needed a break. We needed time to go on a little vacation, go outside town, do things together, spend time together because we were inside of YouTube, inside and out. Every day it was a
Mhm.
discussion of what was going on, different things. You get trolls, you get people, and I've learned to get past all that, but then it just got to be you just get into it for so long. You need that break. It's like any job that you work, certain hours, but you get a burnout. And so I'm
Mhm.
just surprised with everything that they were trying to accomplish, but then construction on top of that, that's a rough situation.
I mean, just look at
Employees.
example. Look example Kuya John, right?
Yep.
Right. So look at what happened to him.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Like
Yeah. Weird. Yeah.
like you put your girl in up in the screen. You made her show herself first before you even showed yourself that took a while for that. And he's going to have to go, and if he's telling the truth, if they are separated and stuff like that, then you're looking at that situation that there's look, by her starting to see and read the comments, maybe, and then her having a speaking moment with me in Tagalog. Okay. There's that moment of reality that hits them and say, is this worth everything? Is this the right person I should be? Now, I'm not saying that she is a money grubber, Miss Armstrong. Okay. I'm not saying that, but maybe she realized that she's not the priority. Because one thing that we know is he's not going to be the priority because she has the children. Okay. That's a known fact already. So,
Right.
but then that doesn't change the fact that for this woman, she's like, why am I not the priority by him? He wants to do this, he wants to do that. So,
Mhm.
you can't start a new business when you're just recently starting a family.
Right. It'd be about the exact time he said 2 years ago, and that's probably about when the channel switched to construction. So I believe he said that they were constantly in motion with that house, the houses, because I don't think it was just one. So
No.
imagine the work, the employees, like when I met George, he was the one with the business, and it wasn't easy for me because his priority was, of course, the business. Late nights, different things, it just consumed everything. And on his days off, he was in hiring phases or meeting with accountants. And it was just like, it was really rough. I mean, we almost didn't make it in the beginning because it was just too much. So,
Yeah, you can't start two new relationships. And what people don't understand is starting a business is harder than starting a relationship,
mhm.
because there's a lot of real losses that happens there. Because if you then suck at the business or the business fails, then you can't be a good person to provide for the person you want to be with, that you want to have a relationship with. So, that's a problem that happens. And maybe because these are things that people don't read about or learn about when it comes to understanding relationships and stuff like that. And it's a learning process. I'm learning, as my days goes by and stuff like that. But he had so much stuff against him for that relationship to actually work. It's like, and then at the same time, is where was his true priorities? Was it really to find a Filipina, or was it really to get into TV and be the next no neck Ed?
90 Day by meeting her. Yeah, I probably, and I kind of missed, I didn't watch their entire online dating company. It looks because she appears several times. I thought maybe they owned it or something because
Mhm.
they were in so many of the videos, but it looks like it might be owned by somebody else. But I kind of missed if they initially had met through which dating app, if it was just through Facebook. But yeah, that could have been the whole ideal. She made it clear that he wanted on 90 Day Fiance. So that's
Sucks to
Now,
be.
to some
It's
of
a
you
sad
guys,
situation.
yeah, that doesn't seem like relevant, but actually it is, because driving motivation to be in a relationship governs the whole relationship. Meaning, if his motivation is, for example, the YouTube channel, the bills, the money, the investment, the real investment is not on her, but on himself. That changes the dynamics.
and maybe he just, yeah, I mean, maybe none of the money mattered to him. Maybe it was strictly he just wanted. I do notice, and we've told people that it's funny how you hear people talk about people who do YouTube or that type of business being on television or in a public eye. Some will do it for just the money. Others do it for, like, a lot of these guys here over and over again that are making a couple thousand US a month in their retirement will say, "Oh, well, I don't need the money. I just do it just to do it as a part-time, just for fun thing." And I'm like, I often wonder, which is Richard? Is he actually just doing it just for all the clout for, here I am, I can do it, maybe to show his family back in the US. He still has the family and children back in the US, or is it, was it actually for the money? Because he keeps saying he didn't need the money, that he made way more back in the US. He keeps repeating that. But I
Then why are
do
you
see
in the
where
then why are
some
you
of
in
the
the Philippines? That's the
the
thing. Why are you in the
Dumageddon
Philippines
group,
then?
the Dumageddon group and the Angel City group YouTubers keep going on how it's not for the money, and I believe that to some extent. So I'm like, so why? or some of these guys getting into it just for the fun of it, because it still takes work and time and effort, and burnout soon to follow for sure.
Right. And going back into the video on what he said prior, because remember, now we're looking at motivations. And what I'm getting at is, remember I repeated what I said earlier? I said, really, Richard? Really? Why did you have to mention you're with why did I pick a middle-aged Filipina?
With
His
two
words.
kids.
With 2 kids, his
He
words.
said it.
And now you're like, what's your motivation on that? You know what I'm saying? Why did you have to bring that up? What does the age have to do with it? Because if you really were in love with her,
I think he was trying to say, why would he bother if he wasn't really in love? But he did put her out there a few times, but according to him, he's trying to push it that it was the people in the comment section. But then he made it clear that one of the comment people knows all of his business and only she would know that. Then he made that clear. And then he went to make it clear that she's been served to be quiet and that she was quiet all of a sudden. So it's still down and dirty. Hey, Bruce,
Or
speaking of down and dirty,
or
or
what
what?
happens is maybe this is all for the show because they're trying to get themselves out there in these reality TV stuff that they're creating this type of drama
That
for
does
now.
happen, guys, by the way. No, I'm
So
aware of that because according to him, he's going on how he is the great creator, how they were at 30 something thousand. Well, we all know how that actually happened was all the extras. But
well, what's
then
their
he
views?
claims, huh?
What's their views?
I believe he's at 60, 70,000 on average. I think he's at, I'm trying to
Per
get
video?
let me take a look. Well, his last one only brought him 22,000. Okay,
Per
so their
video, right?
channel is staring at 179,000, 22,000 for the last one. Previous, he got 181,000 for
That's
he's
good.
getting as many views as he is. But according to him, I believe he's advertising through Google because he's going on about how he SEO optimizes, if you didn't hear me say that earlier, and how
I
he
did.
does it just right. And if everybody else would, they could have numbers like his. And that's not true. Me and George have used SEO titles. We put that in. We did it for a few months and we've done everything. I still feel that who you are, what you put out, and the quality. He's saying if people would do this, it doesn't matter the quality, content, blah, blah, that he did it all. And I'm like, no, it's a mix of things. Algorithm favors certain topics. Algorithm favors this. And when you're paying, and I'm sure he is paying Google every month to push his stuff. So
Mhm.
that's something they started offering a few years ago, but I don't think the SEO. But he does brag how he's the one that's built the channel and it was his idea on the construction. And so it just goes from there.
And good for him. I mean, it just goes from there. It's like what are you going to do about it? This just brings out more people to view you, which is perfectly fine. I think he's creating that need to be able to watch that stuff. Kudos to him.
Yeah.
But
It's an actual lot. So he has to, like, a couple months ago, we got 500,000 views on selling the house, the construction of the house, 110. So he's getting just as many views as he does subscribers on his constructions.
okay, good for
But
him.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just funny to me. It's like, don't you come to the Philippines to have less headaches?
That is true.
And like, why create more headaches for you as a person? It's like that really that baffles me how a lot of these guys. But then the question is, were they really full of headaches when they were in the States anyways, and they just brought them? Sometimes wherever you are, there you are. So maybe
Correct.
it's just a
Yeah,
continuation of who he truly was in his own country, and where he's at right now, he's just going to act up as well. But
that is true. We said that. Yeah. If he had issues in any capacity, we always say that mentally, physically, family wise, that carries over. You're still the same person. People are
well,
people, and
and I'm not picking on Richard, but the fact that, okay, Some of you will agree with me on this one. Some of you will not. Again, it's not about hate. It really never is. I'm just talking about behavior. When a man is that deeply involved in his work, and what I mean by that, I'm not talking about my opinion. I'm talking about by observances. He does construction. He's still doing construction. He lives in a shed, in his own words, in a
Yeah.
shed at the job site.
Yes, he'd been living in the
That's
shed
how
for a long
hardcore this
time.
is. Now,
Yeah,
when
not even the same
a
house.
person, not necessarily a man, male, female, doesn't matter. If a person is that dedicated into his job, there is something wrong.
I don't think his dedication is why he slept in the shed, though. He said for 2 years they hadn't even been in the same bed. But
Correct. However,
he stayed on the
if he's
construction
not that
site.
dedicated, he will not confine himself to that shed. He will go somewhere else to live. I put air quotes on that. Live, not be
Oh, so you're just saying his
not be a
dedication.
machine.
Mm.
He chose to be a machine. And why a person would choose to be a machine, again, I'm not judging him. I'm just saying he's
It's a lot. It just brings me around to me and George went out yesterday, and we'll be covering a interview of some Filipinas that are bar girls here, and we'll cover it on our next live. But just life here in the Philippines can be rough. I mean, I've struggled for the last couple years living here, and I'm thinking why somebody would go through that, plus rough relationship and things he's going through now, just to, I don't know, things are rough as it is.
yeah, and bear in
But
mind again, I'm not judging the guy. I'm just saying that if somebody goes deep down in that, it's either one, he doesn't want to deal with the situation, so that's his deflection.
I could see if it was his child sticking around, but I didn't even know it's not even
Well,
his
see,
daughter.
that's
another thing.
that's what I'm saying. The motivations there, we don't know. I'm not him. I'm not saying
There's a lot going
if the
on.
kids were his, then I could see. I would understand more.
I mean, I would have to think heavily because people have asked us if George passes away in 10, 15 years, am I going to stay? The answer is yes. But on the other hand, if say in a year or two we divorce or in 46 days and 30 hours we divorce, then I don't know if I would stay or not. I mean, it's kind of like, I don't know, because if I'd been here that many years and another 20 years and then I stay, I've just really adjusted the country. But if it's anytime soon, I would probably go back to the US
Right.
where my family is for support and everything.
Now,
So,
Billy Abinos, I disagree with you. She's not making bank because one, the company, even though it's under her name, is defunct. Meaning, without him, that company's pretty much dead in the water.
well, it depends on, I don't know, that's got to be
And then the
kind of-
YouTube is under his name, which
It's kind of who's getting the sponsorship, being it's the Philippines. There's several sponsorships. That's got to be under her name.
well, then again, I'm not, but
Unless
even
it's
the
under
sponsor-
his.
right.
Then there's a problem.
Yeah,
there.
right now it's one of those.
Yeah,
But-
it does show Philippines. The channel is registered in the Philippines. It shows Philippines.
Well,
Well, it just shows that.
Well, I
So
mean-
it doesn't necessarily mean that's what he's telling, Google AdSense or whatever,
Right.
but it's kind of,
well, I mean, it could be Philippines has. I mean,
I know, I'm just saying it doesn't say
Right.
US on it. But yeah, it's hard time.
Right.
There's a lot of different factors, but I mean, maybe he meant bank as in her. I didn't check to see if she has a bunch of things up like.
well, I don't think she
PayPal
is. If
and-
she is, then I don't think she would be making these sympathy videos if she was making money off of it. If that makes any sense.
I don't know. I might consider it. I don't know.
No, it's possible.
Right,
It's
Mike?
possible.
I mean, which
It's
it's
possible. I mean,
kinda
she's
hard.
probably because she could be setting herself for the next. What's that word? Monkey branch, tree branch,
Monkey branch.
whatever.
Monkey branch.
Right.
monkey
The thing is like, look, he probably arrived, then he realized it's not worth it, so he checked out. So then, this is the problem with guys who are into working too much, right? So,
All right, she
you know,
doesn't
it-
have-
like they need
Yeah,
to
there's-
understand, like guys need to look into like how did your majority of guys probably got a divorce if they're coming to the Philippines to find a Filipina, by far majority. So the problem that occurs there is like, did you change or learn something from what caused your relationship to cause, to break up before? And most guys won't, because a lot of guys will say, well, it's the woman's fault, and the woman will say it's the guy's fault, and nobody fixes yourself first. And then you bring the same stuff to your next relationship and it's all over. I mean, like, there's certain things I've learned that I'm not going to allow a woman to do no more. And there's certain things I know that I've done to, that I have to be accountable for, that I need to not work on. So it's like, I don't know. Just all depends on the people.
Yeah, I just checked. She doesn't have anything attached to her account. So, in other words, there's no PayPal, buy me a coffees, anything in her account. So we have to remove that. People, I mean, unless she's got something on the side. But just on a side note, I thought I'd update. I don't see anything in there. So she's just putting her story out right now. I mean, she's being paid for the YouTube channel, of course, but it's, clearly can see that it's monetized. So maybe she hasn't applied. But yeah, her video about cheating got 163,000.
Oh,
Can
the
you guys
newest
hear me now?
video.
Her previous one about why my ex is sending money is at 103,000. So yeah, she's going to get a little bit of a check to live on. Plus, according to him, 50% of whatever's going on. So, but at least that's working out. But I guess the comments have been flowing on both sides. According to him, more so against him and the way he treated people, with allegedly her being one of the main, counts. That's why he had to serve her, attacking him. But maybe he just wanted to put that out also. So,
Well, yeah, it's possible though. It's not really work. I
Might
don't
be
think
a
he
hard
goes
worker.
on his side.
He might be a hard worker, but I think, like George is saying, man, like it sounds like he was more focused on just doing his work instead of trying to maybe solve his marriage. But that's just me. What would I
No,
know?
that's yeah. I agree, and that's what I mean. I'm not saying that's what happened, but what I'm saying is it's possible that, yes, that he deflected from the real issues, deep dove into the work rather than dealing with the real issues at hand. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying human behavior, usually people don't go that deep into their work.
well, that was kind of like you and your company.
Well, I have my other things too. But
No, I know, but you kind of did. That's what people do during,
no, I understand.
yeah.
But
Not
there's
with me.
people
I'm
out
talking
there that
about
can-
his previous relationship.
but there's also
So he
other
did dive in.
reasons why I did certain things too, which anyway, not where. But okay, now Billy says, farm the Sims, no sympathy for these guys. It's 100% his fault. Well, is it, Mike? Do you think it's 100% his fault
For what?
for what happened to him?
Would you
What?
say his relationship was something?
I would never say that it was 100% his fault, but I'll say that he is the main fault, because I always bring it back down to the basics, right? Who asked who to marry you? It's like there's a certain point that you can say that, yeah, there's some fault towards the woman, but he did not look into everything to go on. He asked her to marriage, because like I still abide by the rule that the man provides access to a relationship, the woman provides access to the pussy. So if that statement is all correct, then he is the main person at fault. Because once again, I'm sorry to say, we can put down my list of my red flags: uneducated, single mother, poor family, from the province. Is she from the province? I'm gonna guess she's from the
Don't
province.
forget, he chose to come over
I
here.
believe so.
In one
Okay.
case, so he chose to come over here to the, so let's not forget that he chose to go there.
Yeah. But that's
Yeah,
what
he
I'm just
did.
saying. It's like before you even went to marry the woman, look at all the red flags and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
he married her
Exotic
during the
looking,
pandemic online.
met in social media. I don't know, so there's right there's 6. I mean, there's 5 from the basics that I know, 5 plus the exotica times 2, 10. Like he's done for. So I mean, it's like it's come on. I mean, once again, like I said, my list is accurate. So so it's just and then you take your problem as a man, and then it starts having problems from there.
I'm not going to blame anybody.
And
I
then-
don't really know. This is really the first that I've seen. I've heard you guys talk about it, but I don't know the Armstrongs.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna have to go. Okay.
All right, thanks, Mike.
Yes,
See you
Right on,
later,
Mike,
Mike.
eh?
Thanks, Mike. Check out Mike's channel.
Mike's Philippine
So
journey.
I don't really know these people, but I'm not going to put blame on stuff. But obviously, it's us, and I'm not,
Well-
I'm not putting Heidi. I'm just putting us men right now. Okay.
Well,
I
here's
think
another
she's
thing, Bruce, real quick. Something again that we'll cover on our next live stream is just how everybody thinks it's so simple to live in a third world country. And the Philippines is one of the rougher countries I've lived in. I love the people. I like the cheap rent. Food is about the same price. So there's things that I love and don't like about the Philippines. And I've always put that out. Now, the longer I live here, the more I'm adjusting. But I would say that sometimes my stress and being in a country and relying on George so heavily does put stress on our marriage. There's no doubt. And I'm sure this applied to him. I'm sure he needed her help. Didn't she mention she did a lot of the translating and had to do a bunch of stuff? They hired somebody on the side just to help at some point, but I bet you in the beginning she did a lot of it.
Well, yeah, of course.
So there's a lot of stress probably on her. And like me here, I officially, because of the bad traffic here, George is the one that drives. I haven't transferred over my license, which is my fault, but I rely on him for just about everything, or I got to call a Grab. And there's a lot of different things that you have to adjust to. So I think a portion of that falls into also being in another country. I'm sure there was some stress on him. So
Right. No, and again, the translating thing, because again, that's a real thing. I mean, a lot of Filipinos do understand English, but they don't know enough that you can actually, especially when it comes to what's the word?
provincial people is probably
Well, that
say
too,
has
yeah.
more
They're
English,
more in the
but
province, yes.
Mhm.
And
Out in the
also
Ilocos
be
or-
aware that we're talking about construction here. We're talking about more detailed instructions.
Mhm.
You know,
So-
Carabao English, as it were, is not enough. If that makes any sense.
So I guess my question would be like, if the guy's got this great work history, and which is great, there's nothing wrong with that. But all right, you choose to go over here. You want to marry this lady with 2 kids, and I'm not saying anything bad about single mothers, but don't you think that they would possibly try to work things out? I mean,
not
I
if
don't
they
know.
haven't
Again,
been
I
in the
don't know.
same bed for 2 years. And he probably would like for me, I stayed my first marriage for 10 years. There's just the limit, even with kids. So I'm just enough of the factors just didn't meet. So there, like somebody said, there's a third side to this story. He said there were 2. Now that we've heard both of them, we were waiting to hear from him before we put out the story because we've been receiving emails about this since she put her stuff out. We knew there was something up until we get more kind of like Cardwell and Thornton and hearing other sides before we can really put into it. And then I think there is definitely a third side, and it sounds like there's still going to be more coming out, according to him. He said eventually everything will be out. Our personal feeling from watching both of them, there is a third party for him. There's a relationship somewhere, and that will cause somebody to leave
Oh my
quicker.
God, oh my God, I was thinking that earlier. Does this guy got a girlfriend?
It's the way he's wording things, and although I don't think he's lying,
I
a
agree.
lot of people, when they're constantly doing this number and looking around, and when he says something solid, he was facing the camera. Now, George
none
is
of your
saying that it's
business
not a
about
pure
my
sign, but if
personal
you
life.
notice when he's saying straight things, he looks straight at the camera. Each person is
Exactly.
always different. So on whether they're, I think there's something. I think he's telling truths. I just think that he's nervous about something. So I think there's still, but in the end, it's another expat that's in a divorce in a country where I don't care what expat vlogger puts something out, how
It's a
great things are
non-op.
here. It is difficult to live in another country, and the Philippines is a great country, but the infrastructure, the heat, the weather, the bugs, the the vastness, and as far as where the rentals are, where you can live, the differences, the cultural differences, all this will weigh in on your relationships. And a lot of these guys are coming here, they get into a relationship, and it's not exactly, we're not saying that they're not successful. I would say out of 10, I'm going to say 3 out of 10, 4 out of 10. But think about it this way, it'd be the same as living in the US, but
I
here you're
mean,
dealing with more things. More
U.S. Yeah,
things.
U.S. You get married, you divorce, and that's it. Again, the
Right, you're
Philippines, as
still
you
in
guys
your
have always
country
said.
and you're not dealing with the cultural differences. And then
Right.
I was telling George about, also when we do this live stream, I'll be discussing the next one, that I'll be discussing how, me coming here, because like I said, his family's here, but it's less expensive to live here. That was one of my main motivators, was actually coming to where things were cheaper, people were nicer, were my main motivators. But there is a major adjustment. The same if a Filipino goes to the US. It's not milk and honey over there anymore. And the same with me thinking that cheap rent and nice people was going to solve some of, me adjusting and not having to worry. I just have to worry about other things now that I'm here. So it just kind of like my shift in focus kind of just, yes, the rent is cheap. Yes, the people are nice, but that doesn't, the grass is not always greener on the other side, my friends.
Yeah, now Vernon made a good point. A good point and somewhat well. Here's the thing. Vernon says he needs a new Pinay to love and get corporate name to run business. One, I don't think he's ever going to do that again.
No.
What I'm saying, after just what happened, it's too soon, as they say. Um, Now here's the thing with this situation. The 13A actually on Armstrong's part did killed two birds with one stone. One, it got, took care of his immigration. Two, took care of his work permit. Now, unfortunately, I don't think he's going to go through the 13A route again, not anytime soon anyway, because he just still in one, trying to get out of one kind of deal. It'd be kind of silly of him.
And they'll keep an eye on that, by
Right.
the way.
And then for him to jump into another 13A would be kind of like, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But unfortunately, like I said, he's in a special situation that goes against him. And again, not me. What I'm saying is it goes against him because one, 13A is his 13A is basically on the fritz right now because if the marriage is dissolved as it were, his 13A would, I don't know how soon it would get dissolved, but it basically is on the fritz.
And let's not forget about, if this is all his channel, which is all seems to be the claim, then on the other hand, you're supposed to register that as a business on the side anyways.
Correct.
So he's supposed to be registered with a TIN number and going through the BIR here on taxes, as
Right.
well as dealing with the US, whether, that's a whole different matter. So even if he's paying his taxes back there, he's still supposed to, anybody in social media here, foreign or what I call domestic or Filipino, is supposed to deal with that if they own that channel.
Right. Now the SRRV will fix that issue. However, like you guys says, we don't believe he's old enough. So now he has to look for an SWP, which is a special work permit, yada yada yada.
And he has to have a specialty to get that special work thing.
Well, George,
Right.
I
So
mean,
now he's in a special bind.
yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta do a lot. Like if you're gonna, like you said, you guys have said this hundreds of times. Listen, I got a friend of mine I told you guys about in Thailand. His stuff got stopped. Google stopped his pay until he got all the information, all the paperwork that needed to be sent to the Thailand because of taxes. He was getting away like a lot of other people. I'm not saying it's right, but there was a lot of people, and now the hammer dropped on him. And I told him, I said, you can't live there for 11 years and not pay taxes and make money, dude. Like, it doesn't work that way. we all have to pay taxes at one point in our lives.
Yeah. Well, or you just have to follow the rules. There are rules between the U.S. and the Philippines, but like I
No,
said, a
you're right,
couple years ago, they had changed where anybody working online, including YouTube, TikTok, whether they were Filipino or foreign, they're supposed to deal in registration because they consider that still self-employment. Now, where the taxes are paid, each country has its own rules, like whether it's a dual taxation country, how it's actually done, that's where everybody needs to check on it. But yeah, and
even
then
just a
things
little
got
bit of
even
money,
weirder for
right?
George lately because Thailand is claiming they have an office for Google, and forever everybody here in Asia, it was back in the
Singapore.
US. Oh, sorry, Singapore. I said Thailand. Sorry. Thank
Singapore,
you, Dan.
right? Yeah, it
So
was in
it's
Singapore.
Singapore.
Yeah.
And so for a while, things were going back to the US for George paying taxes. You have to file something saying, hey, I don't live in the United States. And he did all of that. And then all of a sudden, a couple months ago, Singapore started sending us notifications that you must update that you owe Singapore for the taxes. So it'd be the same thing. So he filed something saying, hey, I live in Philippines, but they've actually denied us several times. And so he's got a business license. He's got his TIN number for the business. He has books, everything. And he's got a ID from the actual for his business. And they're still saying none of that is good enough to prove that he doesn't live in Singapore or something. It's weird. And that he owns a business. So basically it's the same amount of taxes. So now they're saying, okay, well, we're just going to still default to the US. It's about the same taxes, but he files quarterly and that's just how it goes. But for everybody else, it'll be different. So now he's going to be dealing with that on top of whatever he gets on the side from them companies, if it's in his name or her. It's going to be kind of messy. And all of it may seem like he's got it all under control. Maybe he already has refiled for his immigration. Maybe he's handled all the business stuff. And that is a possibility. That's what this discussion is about, is how all of a sudden it did get messy or how it could go south. But I don't think it's over. I still think
Oh no, not by a
I think
long
there's a
shot.
few skeletons. So we may cover
Not by a
this one
long
or two more
shot.
times. Kind of like the Thornton thing and the Caldwell and the Andy Omar and all of that. We usually cover it a couple times over. So until something comes up, or nothing ever comes up. So
Well, it's possible. Well, see, here's the thing. After she's being served those papers, cease and desist. Now, my guess is it would probably die down only because
it already has. She has
Filipinos or Filipinas are non-confrontational. Even if they know that the cease and desist doesn't affect them here, it doesn't mean that they're like, you know, what I'm saying is, again, like I said, her video is, if you guys watch it, she didn't say anything. And like I said, it's kind of weird. Richard said more about the stuff than she did. It's kind of like, okay, Richard, good job. Thanks for putting things in the light there, buddy. But, and what I'm saying is, the Filipina was basically just asking for support from her viewers more than anything. It wasn't about Richard. She was just basically saying, hey, you know what? I'm kind of left here with the bags. Help me out. That's basically what her video is about. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I was getting at. All this making complaints is out of control. Right, exactly. It's one of those, you hear this expat saying stuff on YouTube, and trust me, I did it a lot. But it's like, well, we understand what you're coming from. You have our sympathies, Richard, but you're the one who brought yourself out there in the open. You know what I'm saying? And not because I'm taking sides. It's just because that's what my observation. Onion skin type stuff. In this case, yes, on his side, which again is kind of ironic. Now the guilt and lying. I don't think either or are guilty or lying, because remember, everybody lives in their own little perception Everybody's a hero in their own mind. Well, not everybody, but you guys know what I'm getting at. Um, do they believe what they believe? Yeah, of course they do. And in their mind, they're each party's like, oh well, I deserve this. They didn't give me this, and just remember, don't be quick to judge either or. You know what I'm saying? And remember, like what we always say is there's always, his side, her side, and the one in the middle. And the odds are it's somewhere in the middle. You know what I'm saying? Um, Chesney wants this. Just fight. Be a man like Mark. Jeff says Richard's emotionally unstable, has anger issues that he admitted. It's possible. I'm not quite sure if he admitted it because honestly, I don't watch him like religion. I watch a few of his videos, every now and then. Um,
But not all the way through because some of his videos are like 40 something minutes
r-
alone just on construction. So,
right, and
yeah.
construction can. I mean, you watch one construction video, you pretty much watch almost all of them. I mean, I'm not being mean or anything, but unless you're into that, if you do construction, then yeah, you would enjoy it because you like to see things they do wrong, see they do right, things you can learn from. But if you're not into construction, you'd be like, seen one, seen them all kind of deal. I don't know. I honestly don't believe that, but I'm saying to most people, it would look the same. Filipino American says you guys point out lots of facts. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. And again, remember this is a cautionary tale more than anything. Especially for those of you who are into 13As who have businesses, all that kind of stuff. Remember,
It's like
you're
any immigration,
right.
because I'm sure no matter what he falls into, if he remarries again, they'll be watching and be like the U.S. if you remarry again after. It's
Well,
just,
as they say, it's too soon.
mhm.
They'll because they will check into. I mean, it's like the U.S. I mean, if you marry a Filipina and then you take them to the U.S., they will, investigate whether you guys are really together or not. No different here.
Yeah.
Um, Making a complaint in a foreign country, these expats do too much. Who encourages this?
Mhm.
Right.
Yes.
Magandang gabi. I will eat some gabi from my sinigang now.
Lunchtime,
That's
huh?
oh, yeah, it's nighttime, I guess, in the U.S. But I thought Hector's here.
Yeah, I think he is. It's
Yeah.
probably lunchtime or, yeah. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up, guys. Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you guys so much.
Thank you, Bruce, for coming on
Emily K.
today.
Mike, Hector Guba was with us today. Thank you very much.
Addie was in the house.
Oh, yeah, Addie from Angel Spot was with us today. Ruby was with us today. Thank you so much for being with us.
Get Sarah in the house.
Yes, Sarah was with us
Ruby
today.
is in the house. Guys, if you haven't subscribed, be sure to subscribe. Hey, Bruce, tell them to subscribe.
D-Man, Brian Thompson, Farside, AJ, Bruce, the other Bruce. Hey, and Guillermo Poliver was with us. Mike Crow was with us tonight. Thank you so much. That's facts. Chosen One. Hey, Chosen One. Hope you're having a good time. Hope 45 was with us today. I thought I saw Scott was with us today. I thought.
Yeah, he's in there.
Yeah, Scott.
He's in there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Scott was with us
Scott's in the
today.
house. Yeah, I can't
IGV,
see beyond
thanks so
there.
much. Sailing the Realtor was with us. Big Dave, Loving the Philippines. Out of Ordinary, MW, Roy Estrada. Jeff was with us today. Thanks so much, guys. We love you all. Oh, thank you, guys. Bye.
All right. See you guys later. Bye.